So today we will see this chapter. So after this, we will start recording. So with that time, you are not. You can ask any question afterwards. Okay, students. Hope you all are good and you are staying at home as usual. So today our topic is environment. As we had discussed that 100 years ago there were probably few people in the whole world, and the world was very small. Almost in 2 or 3 thousand years ago, most of the population of the world lived in small villages, with a few, relatively larger towns, or definitely the consumption was very less. They burn less fuel, and they cut less trees. Okay, and secondly, there was no waste from food, no paper, no tin cans or bottles apart from bones and other in edible parts. So it all sounds an ideal situation, but there were few of the goods things either. There were no medicines except herbs. There was little washing and cleanliness. So these things really helps to improve the hygiene of the people as well. And so then, if we move on, before that, the population of Earth in 2007 was about 6.5 billion. And afterwards, it is estimated that the scientists are estimated that maybe in 2050 it will have risen to 10 billion. So this creates very serious problem for our environment. So definitely the the main problem of overpopulation, definitely when the population is growing in this way, so there will be a lot of problems. Like what is we can ask ourselves that what is the main problem of overpopulation? So that will be other problems associated with overpopulation, include the increased demand for resources such as fresh water and food, then starvation and malnutrition, consumption of natural resources faster than the rate of regenerating deterioration in living conditions. Then the second most thing is that the what is the most harmful things to the environment. This we can ask to are that plastic bags are one of the most damaging sources of everyday pollution. By some estimates, 1 trillion non biodegradable plastic bags are disposed of each year, breaking down in waterways, clogging landfill sites, and releasing toxic chemicals when burned. So this is the very alarming situation for. And the most important thing is overpopulation. So what will happen? So what definitely when the population rate is higher, then there will be a certain issues that will be emerged. So that is not good. So what are the problems of overpopulation that we people are going to we can face that? Both domestic and global population growth is adding to conflicts over water, energy, food, then open space and wilderness, then transportation, infrastructure, school rooms, and numerous other problems in developing countries. Large family size is a major, definitely, cause of poverty and poor health. Okay, so then, if we now let's move on to the book context, we will see that from the Middle Ages onwards, life changed and developed. This is on page number 41. If you can see, from the Middle Ages onwards, life changed and developed more people through only a minority began to live in towns. Then from the 18th century, the industrial world burst. As we have talked, that what are the activities that destroy the environment, that some human activities that cause damage either directly or indirectly to the environment on a global scale include population growth, as we have discussed, then overconsumption, over exploitation, pollution, and deforestation. Okay? So these are the few names which I am taking. So then there are some major impacts, humans on the environment. So these impacts on the human environments are like physical environment in many ways: overpopulation, pollution, burning fossils fuels, and deforestation. Change like these have triggered जो है climate change, soil erosion, poor air quality, and undrinkable water. So these are the issues that we people can face. So today, thanks to good water supplies, healthcare, and medical advances, and the other benefits of food, housing, and transport that we enjoy, people live on average twice as long as they did a century ago. ठीक है? सो अब हम इसमें एक जो चीज वी कैन डिस्कस, एज वी हैव डिस्कस दैट द मेन प्रॉब्लम ऑफ इसमें ओवर पॉपुलेशन का तो एक बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर है, बट हैव वी बिकम टू complainsed what are the destroying our environment? Many people think so. So what is that complacent? That is uncritical satisfaction with oneself or one's achievement. So what are that? That every day more huge industries plants pour out immense amounts of polluting smoke. Many industrial processes have dangerous and definitely poisonous byproducts which are often allowed to run into rivers, making so that is they are contamination and destroying the environment of the world. So that the all the poisonous and toxins released from the factories that run to the into the rivers and making the water deadly to the life in water, and also the human life, it is very dangerous. So billions of motor vehicles emit toxic gases into the air, especially in towns and cities. The gases from factories and motor vehicles accumulate high up in the atmosphere, forming a blanket which is causing global warming and serious climate changes. So we have already discussed about the global warming. Global warming, we had discussed, that is the temperature of Earth's surface, oceans, and atmosphere that is going up over tens of years ago. So global warming is a great threat. So that's why our ozone layer now has got oxygen to heal itself. Otherwise, there was a big hole that comes because of this global warming. The ozone layer was ruptured. So now, thanks be to God, it is healing. So now let's move on to the page number 42. If we can see that almost everything we buy comes wrapped in paper or plastic. As we have discussed, I have already discussed that this is the big threat to our earth. That because of these plastic bags are one of the most damaging sources of everyday pollution. ठीक है, by some estimates 1 trillion, as I have discussed, that plastic bags are disposed of each year, breaking down in waterways, clogging landfill sites, and releasing toxic chemicals when burned. So when it is burned, so there are definitely uh, a very dreadful consequences that we can see. So society encourages us to keep, and the most dangerous thing is that society encourages us to keep buying. We do not, you know, uh, reusable, make it reusable for the things which we are already using. So society encourages us to keep buying new equipment for our homes. The older items are discarded and left on huge garbage dumps. So we just change them into huge. Definitely, when we buy new things, so we just don't just we just discard them, and they encourages us to buy new things. So that is very harmful effect on the earth. As well as the things which are dangerous, our environment creates things which are unpleasant for many people. These are, for example, constant noise from cars. That is the noise pollution. That is spreading noise pollution, through which we it can affect our memory, it can affect our hearing senses, damage. It can also damage our hearing senses. Then the visual pollution, that is unpleasant sights such as huge hoarding and advertisements, industrial equipment, and electrical cables. So then the last topic is global warming. As we said above, the vast amount of man-made gases are building up a layer like a blanket high above the earth. This is preventing the heat from escaping into space. So earlier what happened, because of this, the thick blanket which is in our environment, because of the release of the factories, the smoke they release, so it covered the whole, um, it blocked the whole air. So that's why the harmful rays or the harmful gases cannot go up. They just stay over there, and that will be the biggest cause of creating this global warming. ठीक है. So the temperature of the world is rising steadily. Definitely, when the gases cannot go or go anywhere, so this will be a serious, indeed, because it will probably alert the whole of our weather pattern. Scientists think the earth will become much more warmer and drier, which for Pakistan, already on the borderline, could be very serious. It will also mean that much of the polar ice is melting. Yes, because of this global warming, the ice is melting, the glaciers are melting, and that is the it is already sea retreating several kilometers a year, and that sea levels will rise. The sea level will definitely rise. When the glacier will melt, the floods and the other natural disaster calamities will be faced by humans. This will seriously affect lower lying countries such as Bangladesh and Maldives, because they are already in very much, they are living in almost 95% living around the water. So that will be a very threatening thing for these countries like Bangladesh and Maldives. So in this chapter, we have seen the main important thing is the consequences of overpopulation, and the use of plastic bags, all those things that can also affect our hygiene, our health. Then a heap of waste matter, then the dangerous gases being emitted into the air, then the toxic products running into rivers, then the factory pouring out poisonous fumes in the air, then the birth rate is higher than the death rate. So these are the problems that we people are facing nowadays. So thank you so much, my dear students. Now we will discuss about the chapter. Okay. So teacher, now it is off.